Welcome to this shortwave channel. And if you're on the Facebook group, you've kind of noticed tonight that I was listening in with three radios at the same time, which are two XHDATA D-109 and the Sihuadon D-808. And basically, I was tuning in the same signal. I often do this with portables. I will set three or four portables. Same, kind of the same setup, using, for example, in this case, only telescopic antenna on each, and tuning in the same signals, be it, signals that are stronger or weaker. It helps me sometimes notice differences because, quick tests of one signal or one over the other with the same signal isn't always it doesn't give you the full story if you want. And what I get is that sometimes doing a little more and listening to different types of signals gives you a better idea. And what immediately came out of these signals, so I started tuning Spain 9690, that was coming in very well, and all were receiving well. But when there were fades, when the signal sometimes came a little noisy, then came back to full strength, I noticed that the Sihuadon was less distorted, even though the audio on the D-109 is much better. The kind of distortion that comes with the fading and the changing in the signal levels was less of a problem on the D-808. So that's an interesting thing that I noticed while playing around. I also tuned WRMI, which was a weaker signal. D-808, once again, seemed to be a little more on the edge. As I was listening, I had the impression that I could hear better on the D-808 than on the D-109s, because, once again, less kind of a distortion in the radio, if you want. And finally, I tuned Radio Thailand 13750. And tonight the signal wasn't as good as it is usually. And so tuning around that signal was interesting, especially because of the fast fading. It's tough for the radios to really operate well when a signal like that with very fast fading happens. Once again, it was easier to copy and understand what was said on the program using the D-808. It seemed to cope better with that fast fading, and also, once again, less distortion. The overall distortion of receiving signal was better on the D-808 most of the time. So, when I say the D-808 is probably the best choice if you have to choose one. And you get a package that does a lot more too. You get the airband, you get single sideband, which really opens up another world. So, I think if you have to make a choice, and somebody was mentioning to me that it's much more expensive on the D-808. I went to the XHDATA website and I noticed that the D-109 was sold for $45 US, and the D-808 on the same page was sold for $77 US. That's $30 difference, a little more than $30, and so I think it's totally worth to get it for $30 more. I know some people have a very tight budget, don't want to spend much on a radio, but you kind of get a better package with the D-808, that's for sure, and less overload possibilities also. So, there's some interesting observations when you listen to more radios like that, all one next to each other, and listen to different broadcasts, different types of signals that fade in, out, different strengths of signal too. Some are very strong, some weaker. It gives you an idea. You see that sometimes you kind of pick one that does better than the other when you start listening carefully. It's a much more interesting test, because you listen for a while rather than a quick I compare this signal with this signal on the radios. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.